everyone. It's Friday, which means it's time to deploy. Matt is back from the United States. Welcome back, Matt. How was KubeCon?
KubeCon was really good. Really nice to be home, in my own bed, in my own comfort, and that sort of thing. But it was really fun being away, catching up with the team. And yeah, KubeCon was wild. It was a crazy couple of days. I can't remember what happened when, but there was a lot of talking, a lot of people coming by and chatting about Argo CD and Kubernetes, of course, and cloud native and all that fun sort of stuff. So yeah, it was really fun. We had sessions going on at our booth in the little session theater that we had. We had folks from Octopus doing sessions all over the place at KubeCon as well. Some of those were at the ArgoCon, which is like a pre-conference day.
Yep.
Dan was, of course, in the demo theater. I think he pulled in like 600 or 700 people at some point with, doing Dan things. So, yeah, it was a really fun couple of days. So yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff. Actually, we had Dan on a recent webinar yesterday where he and I talked about KubeCon and we talked about everything that's new there. We talked about ArgoCon, talked about Platform Engineering Day, all the cons, as they say, and we went through some of the highlights that were there as part of the event. So we had a lot of folks that were there. We had our booth, etc., etc. I've dubbed the name of our booth the Recognizer from Tron because it kind of looks like that. It's that sort of tank-looking thing from Tron. But yeah, Dan gave us a summary of everything that was going on during the KubeCon, etc. We talked about some of the highlights as well. We talked about Argo CD, what's new there. We talked about Solo. We talked about, what else did we talk about? I'm trying to remember now. This was 5 a.m. my time, so I was a little bit out of it. You can watch the webinar recording. We talked about vCluster. That's right. Talked about vCluster. What else did he highlight? Oh, there's the Recognizer. So you may remember the Recognizer from Tron. That's what I think of this now. It's a great booth design. There's Jenny there telling the team, let's get ready and say hi to everyone. There's you. There's Joanna. There's Bob. There's Sean. All the gang. There's Rob. All the gang is there. So cool. Yeah, sounds like you had a lot of fun. I'm deeply jealous. So well done. If you want to watch this, you can watch it up on our YouTube channel. Speaking of YouTube videos, you've got your second edition of a platform engineering conversation. Can you delete your way to platform to success? What was this all about?
Yeah, so this was an interesting conversation with Steve Wade. I've seen Steve on LinkedIn and wanted to get him on for an episode because he's got some controversial takes, or what seemed to be controversial takes. So I wanted to get him on and just sort of unpack that and talk through it. And yeah, this episode did go up a little bit late because internet access in Atlanta was absolutely terrible, both at the hotel and the conference itself.
Yes,
so I had to wait till I got back home to actually upload it. So it was a couple of weeks late, but yeah, Steve was very forgiving with me getting up a bit late. But yeah, there's some fantastic insights here from Steve into the things that he's seen, and he talks about the lessons that he learned and the pains that he's had, and then what he sees in customers, and just the complexity that we can sometimes get ourselves into with all of the different tools and shiny objects, and leaving behind half introduced projects that never get cleaned up, and just sort of what to maybe focus on. And
the
Steve,
worst.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So he takes an approach of, are there things in your platform that you can actually delete or remove from the platform that are actually going to make things easier to manage moving forward? And can you reduce that complexity? So that's kind of the crux of the conversation. Yeah.
That's nice. That stuff that sits around your pipeline, that's kind of like that belly button lint that you sometimes pull out when you're embarrassed to. But it's that stuff that it's like the lint in your dryer that you refuse to clean out. You gotta get that stuff. You gotta get rid of that stuff. It's hanging around there. It's slowing down your whole pipeline, man. So, anyways, you can check out Matt's interview inside Platform Engineering, episode 2, now available on our YouTube channel. We've got other things to mention. Charlotte has posted her first blog post. All right, so she's got a blog post here entitled "How High Performers Turn Compliance into an Advantage," and this is all relating to the reporting that we're doing around CD, DORA metrics, etc., etc. So she cites this through a number of charts and graphs. You're looking for good evidence as to why you should do continuous delivery, or why you should try to apply DevOps strategies. And you need some evidence for this. Maybe you want to procure a tool, maybe Octopus, and get it into your organization. And you need some good evidence for the folks who control the financial decisions. Then maybe show them this blog post by Charlotte, which obviously is a summary of some of the key points made in a number of our reports, namely things like state of GitOps, platform engineering report that we have, our CD report by Steve, etc. So how high performers turn compliance into an advantage by Charlotte. Another video, this one got posted earlier. We've been doing a lot of creative videos and the like recently, and this one's called The Deployment Ritual. So I'll just go ahead and show this one now.
Begin the deployment ritual. Copy, paste, miss a step and it all breaks. Copy, paste, miss a step and it all breaks. Copy, paste, miss a step and it all breaks. Copy, paste, miss a step and it all breaks.
We use Octopus for deployments now. Cute outfits though.
Oh, well.
Quit the midnight rituals. Make deployments simple and reliable with Octopus.
So there you go. There's another interesting take on how deployments are done. Maybe not at your company without candles and seances and all that, but yeah, we had a lot of fun shooting that, and yeah, it's interesting. So the acting world is certainly not calling my name, that's for sure. But I was happy to participate as part of this. So there you go.
I think you did all right, and I heard you're also featuring in another one or two that might be coming up soon in the next couple of weeks as well.
Maybe, yeah. No promises. Anyways, you can check out those videos up on our YouTube channel, which are available now. We've got some webinars coming up. Namely, we've got this one with Jeff and Harriet on ephemeral environments, which is obviously a really cool feature, being able to stand up these environments inside of Octopus and then tear them down quickly. That will be on November 27th. And then after that, we're going to be doing a wonderful event you may have heard of called Shipped, which is in 19 days. We've got all the speakers listed. You can register now. Got a lot of great speakers, including yourself there, Matt. Look at that beautiful man, eh? Come on. We got some new speakers. We got some old speakers, I guess veteran speakers. Yeah, we're going to have a great time. We've got the schedule also available, so you can take a look at that now if you're so inclined. We've got our keynote presentation. We've got a release party, which we're going to do as part of this. And then we're going to get right into it with all kinds of wonderful sessions by folks like Bob, Kit, Liam, Steve, yourself, Costas. The first day is going to be mostly focused on folks from Octopus, and we'll be talking about, various things that way. And then the next day afterwards, we'll be featuring a lot of our customers, partners, folks who talk just generally about DevOps, etc. So make sure to check that out at /shipped/schedule.
Awesome.
And then, yes. Wrapping things up, we got some events coming up. We got, obviously, AWS reInvent. You were just at KubeCon, so this list is now thankfully getting shorter. So we are getting to the end of the year. Everyone's just like so exhausted from all the stuff that we've been doing. So, Matt, are you going to reInvent? I don't think you are you?
No, I'm not. I think I've had enough of, I love them, but I've had enough of North America right now. Mostly the plane rides to get there and back, to be honest, is the thing that I don't want to do again. So no, I won't be at reInvent this year. So
Matt's in Tasmania, and what folks may not appreciate or know is that Tasmania is south of Melbourne, which is the south side of Australia. And it takes them at least an hour and a half just to get to Melbourne and then get on a long haul flight over to North America. So, and those don't usually leave right when he's ready. They leave like maybe hours. So he's in transit. You were in transit, I think, going to KubeCon for like 30 hours or something like that. So yeah, I don't think Matt really wants to be going back and forth a great deal, obviously with Tasmania in the mix. But there you go. If you happen to be at reInvent, check out our booth, the Recognizer booth, as I like to call it. Definitely something worth checking out. All right, and we're going to wrap up with a couple of demos, and then we'll go to support on Friday. But some of the demos that we want to show here is we've got a new recovery agent feature. We haven't really talked about this yet. I did do a little teaser video. We're going to do a little teaser here.
Nothing beats.
So whenever you have a deployment that goes south, it happens, things happen, network latency, bad script, step that fails, things like that. We're now going to be slowly but surely introducing this recovery agent capability. And what this is doing AI things and analyzing your deployment logs, and then going to give you some sort of like investigative journal, 60 minutes type deal. It's going to tell you where the error actually occurred and why. And so it'll give you some more specifics around the error itself to help you mitigate or resolve your deployment problems. I love this, Matt. I don't know about you, but I think this is fantastic. This is one of the most exciting features I've seen inside of Octopus in quite a while.
Yeah, definitely. The team have done a great job in including it in the interface here. I think it actually works really nicely in the way that it's been done and the way it sort of, writes out and sort of pushes everything around. So I think that that's been really well done. And I just love our approach to using AI pragmatically, right? We're not trying to just slap it into everything. And this is a great use case for it. I mean, as someone who's had many failed deployments over the years, I've looked at a lot of logs through all the tools, Azure
Error
DevOps
minus
and
32.
yeah, that's exactly
What does
right.
that mean?
And they're feeding through these long logs, which usually they don't look very nice in a UI. They're hard to get to. You usually need to try and copy them out, and then you're sort of fishing through. So this is one of the things that AI is really good at, right? Is looking at that sort of unstructured data and helping you pinpoint, giving you that guidance, that next steps. Here's what I've seen. Here are some suggested next steps. Obviously, still bring the human element to it and review what it's telling you and say, yep, that does make sense, or no, maybe it doesn't. But yeah, from what I've seen so far and tried myself, this is a great addition into the product. So I love it.
Recovery Agent coming to a cloud instance near you. This is available as an alpha. You'll see it turn on eventually. I love this. This is wonderful. And we got another capability here, which is for Platform Hub called Policies. So we have process templates, which were basically the ability to create or construct, parts of your deployment process that couldn't be changed, but would be consistently applied over and over again. You would define these once and then use them repeatedly. What are policies? What are policies all about?
Yeah, so policies are quite interesting. And like you said, they sort of sit alongside process templates. And these allow you to so we've used the Open Policy Agent engine for this. So it's a well-known sort of engine. And we're using Rego for the underlying code that's written of how you write a policy. And what happens is when a deployment runs, we sort of input that schema of data into the policy engine, and then you can write different policies based on, the project or, all of that information that's coming in with a deployment on how you want your deployments to work at scale across the organization. So this is really great from a compliance standpoint. For example, if you want to make sure that a certain step is always included in deployments, if your organization always needs to run a step out to an IT service management tool, for example, to confirm that the deployment to production can go ahead. Now, we had customers who were writing API calls to consistently do that, checking against all of the projects that they had. But now with policies, you could go and write a policy that enforces or checks for that and either warns the user if we've got that warn action in there, or we can actually go ahead and stop the deployment as well if it is sort of breaking that policy. So yeah, there we go. We've got both the warning and the block actions there for the policy producers. And we've got a bunch of different scenarios in the documentation as to what policies it can support, and we're providing a bunch of different examples as well. So for those teams who are trying to allow other teams within Octopus Deploy to go and do their own deployments and such, but still need that centralized control to make sure there's some governance around the deployments, this is a really fantastic inclusion, and the team have done a really great job at even just some of the UI enhancements here in the last few weeks. If you wind back a few weeks, this was basically all stored in Git, which it still is, but we're starting to surface some of those things up into the user interface just to make it a bit easier for folks who are writing the policies. So yeah,
awesome stuff. Well, there you go, another feature coming to a cloud instance near you. And now, everyone's favorite segment, it's time for Support on Friday. All right, we had some recent problems with the internet. Cloudflare had some challenges, we shall say, and we had this thread that came up on the advice channel. Has there been any recent changes to mitigate the cases where GitHub is down for Git-enabled projects? And then Sean replies, are you referring to when Octopus cannot communicate with the underlying Git provider? John says, yeah, gotcha. Was there something of the current error messages are giving you? Blocked the accessing of the project releases page, preventing UI. Okay, so basically what the gist of it is that if GitHub goes down, that's a challenge that we can't really fix. We can't fix GitHub. So the reason why I mentioned Cloudflare is because Cloudflare did have some recent problems, and a lot of the internet was struggling, shall we say. And so in these cases where we have a dependency, especially a network dependency on a remote service, which is typically up all the time, like GitHub is, and then it goes down, it's kind of like, ugh. So we brought it up internally. We are discussing it. I don't know what's going to happen about this, but the good news here is that it's one of those edge cases that we are like, wow, that's actually interesting. Yeah, we may have to think about this. So this is under review, as we say. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's one of those interesting things that you kind of forget that GitHub doesn't go down, really, just because it really doesn't happen that often, right?
No.
And then you build a dependency on something like that. Well,
Yes.
and for the most part, it's fine until it's not. And then,
Yes.
yeah, I heard the team chatting about this a little bit actually at KubeCon, just not so much for this specific issue, but just around, what if the underlying Git provider goes offline? Can we have a snapshot of that information that was there, that was captured during the release? And just, it was interesting hearing the engineering teams talk about some of the other implications and the flow-on effects from that. So while it might seem relatively simple at the surface level, there's sort of these deeper implications that then flow on from decisions that might be made. So
because the network connection may not just be the best case is the whole internet goes down, like in the case of Cloudflare, and no one can touch anything. The problem is if you're based on a Git enabled project, and you do, Git is like by its nature asynchronous, remote, etc., allows teams to work really well. Reconciling changes after the fact becomes challenges because you can get merge conflicts. And so how do you like resolve that for Git enabled projects in Octopus, right? It becomes now a challenge to try and mitigate those, because we're conscious of the fact we have to expose that capability. Obviously we expose some of that capability to the end user, but those things are hard at the best of times, merge conflicts. And so and the reason why I mention this is because sometimes it may just be Australia is down, but the rest of the world isn't, and changes are still happening against that Git enabled project. And then you come along and you're tracking changes remotely, and we have this caching mechanism, and then we try and reconcile that later, and it just becomes a bit of a nightmare to resolve changes. So yeah, I can understand from the team's perspective, it's like, how often is GitHub going to go down? That's the first question I would ask, and it would be like, not that often. It's just one of those edge cases. But it is a great question to bring up, and John, thank you very much for bringing it up. It's great. Love your name, by the way. And sorry, and
fellow John.
It's yes, we are among you. It's great sort of question to think about, and Sean obviously jumped in here to help you with it. So yeah, it's like Sean said, we're discussing it internally, see what happens. No promises obviously, but there you go. In the meantime, make sure to check out samples.octopus.app, which is our sort of go-to for all the latest and greatest. We've got policies turned on there. We've also got obviously the recovery agent. If you happen to have a failed deployment there, you can take a look. You'll have to troll through the logs and find a failed deployment in order to see it, but it allows you to click the button, see why or how deployment may be failed and how you might be able to mitigate it, which is kind of cool. I like it. I hope you do too. It's a really cool feature, and hopefully it will help you mitigate the small chances of times when a deployment fails. Anyways, welcome back, Matt. Great to have you back. Hopefully you've recovered from your jet lag. What's next on the docket for you?
A lot of end of year rush, I think, at the moment. So there's a few things content related that I want to try and align with our marketing team who are pushing out product releases, and make sure that I've got some supporting content around that. So there's that. There's still a couple of episodes of Inside Platform Engineering to get out on the tail end of this year as well. So keep an eye out for that on the YouTube channel. So yeah.
Yes. I myself, I'm busy planning Shipped, as you know. I've got a bunch of speakers I have to coordinate with. So I've sent out, if you're a speaker and you're watching this, I've sent out all the information. There shouldn't be any questions. Shipped will both be live and pre-recorded. And that's intentional because some people can't obviously wait until 3 a.m. to do their content. So they're going to pre-record. So some of it will be pre-recorded, unfortunately. But we don't live in a world where everyone can stay up at all hours, but there you go. Anyways, make sure you register, octopus.com/shipped. All right. Anyways, Charlotte says hi. Jim says hi. Obviously, Jim. Obviously, Matt. You're here to say hi. And thank you for your time and attention. We will see you on the next one. Happy deployments, everyone. Take care.